So folks, just another quick video, chugging along here with some repairs and setups today. A couple of dreadnoughts that I picked up used. This is one that I've never seen before. It's a company called Blast, and I'll show you the headstock there. Blast. Very typical squared off headstock, dark, heavily glossed. God knows what that is. Agathis, maybe mahogany, maybe even basswood. It's hard to tell with this thick of a gloss on it and color. The top is actually spruce, which is good, but it looks laminated, so it's a laminate spruce, which for me is still better than, you know, some of these cheap, awfully made basswood guitars that you can buy on eBay for $60 free shipping or something like that. So I picked it up because it has the spruce top, rosewood board, rosewood bridge. Those are my requirements. I don't like mystery wood on the neck or fretboard. It just causes problems. So and set it up, and it'll be a really decent student guitar for someone. And this is a Blast I'm not even going to try. I'll just put it in the description below the video. But I haven't seen one of these before. I assume that it's probably an OEM guitar, probably made and then stamped by different manufacturers, different distributors, because it looks a lot like other guitars that I've seen, with the standard sort of herringbone style rosette, purfled rosette black binding around the edges. It just looks like a guitar that there were thousands made, and then 3 or 4 different companies gobbled them up and put their stamp on the headstock. Nothing wrong with that. Of course, it's plastic nut and saddle, but it sets up and it plays. And probably a guitar you'd buy or sell in the 100-120 range, something like that. Maybe under if you don't have it set up, but I've done a setup on it. It plays just fine. It's actually a really nice student quality guitar, to be honest with you, and I'll put it with a gig bag, and you know, hopefully some kid will get it and be able to learn on this. But just for a comparative, how much better it gets with a bit of better craftsmanship. Here is a good old Cort AD810 OP guitar. Of course, this is our open pore finish, as we've discussed before. But I pick up these Corts whenever I see them because they're just good guitars. Even though this is, it might be solid. It is actually solid. But I was going to say, even though it's laminate, it's very light, but it's actually solid. It almost feels like an all-solid guitar because of the weight of it, but it's just very well graduated. Cort makes good guitars. Even these AD series, which are their entry level, they're not as good as the Earth series, but they're still good. And just look at the difference here. Look at the quality of that mahogany in the back. Their entry level guitar versus this one. Look at the difference. This is a thick, almost blacked out gloss, almost dark brown. You can't tell the wood. Look at this one, and this is still, you know, $120, $140, $160 guitar. But just look how much better the wood is. Much better graduated spruce. Really nice rosewood board and bridge. You can see the grain. You know, it's got a blacked out headstock with the Cort insignia, but it's just a much better quality guitar than the first one I showed you. I like the way they beveled in the bridge there where the bridge pins are, so you get more height over this coming over the saddle, which supposedly gives you more sustain. But just to illustrate, I know I love new brands and discovering new guitars, but you know, sometimes these tried and true brands on the market that have been around a while, have been making guitars and have made a lot of them. Cort, like Samick, makes a lot of guitars, and you can just tell even when you pick up their cheapest models, they're well put together, they're well braced, the wood is good, the graduations are good, it's a nice lightweight guitar. You know, even the backwood, the mahogany is pretty. You can't always say that about mahogany back guitars. It's really nicely figured, and it's got a really nice neck on it, plays really well. So, you know, both are bog standard Dreadnoughts guitars. You see them by the dozen, but just to highlight the difference in quality between sort of that no-name, probably OEM guitar, the company Blast. I doubt they made it. They probably are a middleman or a distributor of sorts. They buy instruments and they just stamp them. That's becoming common now. Nothing wrong with it. So doing it myself with ukuleles. But here is, you know, these guys Cort, along with Alvarez, Ibanez perhaps, and one or two others, they just make good entry-level guitars. You know, if I have a kid that wants a really good guitar for $150, I will often recommend a Cort. You know, either the AD series or their Earth series guitars, because they're always good. They're always good quality. They're always well made. You get a lot for your money, and they're great value. So I just wanted to illustrate that with these two guitars. I'm not always about the new brands and the unknown brands and the surprise brands and things like that. I do have a lot of fun with it, and I do learn a lot about new stuff. But here you have an example of, you know, something that's been around a while, something that's well made, just a super student quality guitar, and then something that this is the first time I've seen it. It's much heavier, it's more clumsy the way it's made. The finish is very thick, almost glass-like. You know, the parts aren't bad, but this guitar here on your left is a much superior guitar, but the price difference between them is not that much. So just wanted to illustrate that here with this Cort AD810 and this Blast. I think it's G310N or something like that. I'll put the numbers in the description below. You'll probably never see another one of these. I just couldn't find hardly any information. I wouldn't be surprised if there were only 100 made or something like that. But anyway, it's always interesting, always something to learn, so I thought I'd share that with you. See you next time.